Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NASCAR Chase of the Cup 2005. In fact, this is our second edition of the night because it is the Las Vegas 350 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Our first race came at the Dodge Raceway in the daytime. Earlier on tonight, I should say that wrapped up just about a half hour ago. Full race there. Brandon Witt went on to win his first race of the season, ending the 5-race winning streak of our driver, the one you guys voted for at the start of the season at Daytona, Bobby Hamilton Sr. Though we did keep a top 5 streak alive with a close second place finish. Finished the second and a half behind Witt. Witt dominated, though. He deserved the win, leading well over 160 laps in that race of the 250. But now it is time to get back on the winning ways for Bobby Hamilton Sr. in race number 2. A quick turnaround here tonight. Not only that, two hottest drivers right now in the Truck Series on this custom schedule season. Through 7 races, two of them have two of them have 5. 2 of them have 6 straight top 5 finishes. There we go. Now I got it out of my mouth. And that would be both Bobby Hamilton Sr., of course, our driver, and then Carl Edwards as well. Came home third at Dodge Raceway. And that, for himself, is 6 straight top 5s as well. Those are the 2 championship favorites so far. Travis Quaffle, unfortunately, has blown an engine in 2 of the last 4 races. Bill Lester's blown an engine in the last couple races. So they're starting to slowly slip behind, even though they have led a decent amount of laps this year as well. Can anybody stop the dominance of Bobby Hamilton Sr.? When will that dominance maybe let up? We'll have to see if it will be in the second race tonight. As usual, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into the second race of the evening. 350 kilometers set for this one, 146 laps, nearly 200 miles of action. Green flag is in the air at Las Vegas. We are underway, and Bobby Hamilton will be starting at the rear of the field. Aaron McGee in the 163 Old Spice machine on the pole. Hamilton has to drop to the back end of the first turn, a little bit of a stack up in the middle of the corner. And he had to jam on the brakes as they were just getting up to speed still, so that was a little awkward. And this is a very flat and much wider Las Vegas Motor Speedway compared to what we're used to now. Down onto the apron, into the tri-oval that time for Bobby Hamilton. We'll be seeing him doing that quite a bit here today, trying to take that shortcut when trying to make passes in the early going of this race. Off the exit of turn 2, a lot of 3x3 action going on down the backstretch as Hamilton's on the inside of Robbie Young for the meantime into turns 3 and 4. Gonna get a good launch off turn 4. A little bit of contact with the 106 truck of Carl Richards. Hamilton keeps it going. Sends it 3 wide potentially into turn 1. Has to kind of back out of it a little more with Benny Allen. It's insane how stacked up the field is at the front. All the way into the middle. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. From Texas, welcome in. Never been to Texas. What's so good about dumb old Texas? Stupid old Texas. Hopefully somebody gets my reference. I'm sure most of you will. Hamilton's got a lot of grip to go down onto the apron. Usually you can get loose, but so far it's working out for him. Chris Sweeney, Jack Baker, Adam Bell, 3 wide. Off the exit of the corner, Bell, a little bit of contact with Baker down the backstretch as Sweeney still can't quite pull clear. Hamilton drives it in a bit too deep. Wiggles on the bottom lane, keeps it off the truck. Goes on his outside. Still beats Bell back to the gas, it looks like, and he'll drive underneath Baker in the tri-oval. Aaron McGee still leading at the front of the field. Hamilton getting squeezed, trying to go below that white line off turn 2. He's got Keith Grimsley in the 119 truck really pinching him into turn 3. Hamilton, half of his truck pretty much below that white line all the way through 3 and 4 as he's just trying not to make contact with Grimsley. Cutting down to the apron into the tri-oval, trying to break any sort of side draft that could have happened. And Hamilton now up to the 19th position. He is definitely driving it in pretty deep into these corners. Very, very low, but the truck is sticking pretty well there, at least for the early going of the race. We'll have to see as the tires wear out how that will continue to go. Had just one caution at the Dodge Raceway, but it came with 22 laps to go in the race. Interesting fact, in the first 7 races this year, 5 of which have seen a caution in the final 28 laps or less in the race. And in some cases, multiple cautions in the final 28 laps of the race, which happened twice. Watkins Glen, we had 3 cautions in that final stretch of the race, including a green-white checkered finish, and then also at Dover, where the last yellow came out with about 8 to go. Daytona, we had 3 cautions all in the final 38 laps. 2 of them came out back-to-back, but 1 also came out with 8 laps to go. They're set to restart with 5 laps left in the race. So, story of the season. At the very, very beginning of the year, the first 4 races in, it was the fact that we had a lot of cautions in the races. Now it seems to be kind of slower paced starts, but as the race continues on, it really ramps up towards the end. We've been seeing a lot of late race yellows. Hopefully I'm going to say your last name correctly, but Jeff Basnat, welcome to the stream. As far as live streaming the World of Outlaws game, I do plan on it at some point. It's definitely a kind of a mini series I wanted to do on the side, being as it was a NASCAR off season. It kind of let my my true non-commentating side of me go when doing that playthrough. So definitely having a lot of fun with that. I'll definitely plan on live streaming it at least a couple times when I get to the World of Outlaw series. As of right now, I don't plan on doing it. It's a lot easier for me to record and binge record episodes right now while the races are shorter and I'm in the lower series. But once I get into the World of Outlaw series, I do plan on live streaming some of those career episodes as we get closer to the end, which I would probably expect within the next few weeks. I usually like to keep the live streams with the full race commentary, but I do plan on having a few of them, at least. Contact the 135. He's still leading. He's led every lap so far from the pole. Contact, knocking Hamilton sideways into turn 3. Contact up in front of him as well. It's like Doug Thompson got shoved wide. He was involved in the only caution back at the Dodge Raceway. 9 people watching in the early going of race 2 of our doubleheader tonight. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content on the road to 10,000 subscribers in the year 2022. Just a couple days old into the year. We got a lot in store and a lot planned for this weekend, so keep an eye, or this year especially, but more even this weekend. Keep your eye on the community tab within the next 24 to 48 hours, and then keep an eye on the uploads. Make sure you have those notifications up because there will be some special videos also coming out for year in review videos for 2021 on the channel. Hamilton's worked his way up to 9th place right now. A little 2x2 traffic in front of him. Bill Lester, Carl Edwards side by side, as well as Doug Thompson. I can't tell who was on the outside. It looked like Mark Handel potentially. Hamilton all the way down the apron into the tri-oval again, taking that shortcut trying to get to the inside of Lester into turn one. Not going to do it. He did clear Edwards with the move, though. And he stayed to the inside of the 107 truck of Mark Handel. And there he goes. Back in line behind Lester. The back straightaway. Edwards to the inside of Handel, now into 3 and 4. Lester trying to get to the bottom of Doug Thompson. Hamilton all the way to the bottom himself. Onto the apron, into the tri-oval. Lester still not able to get alongside Thompson. Hamilton to the inside off the exit of turn 2 on Lester. Had a top 10 finish, 7th despite being a lap down in the last race. Only 6 trucks drivers finished on the lead lap. And Hamilton clears Lester now off the exit of turn 2. Bit of a block on Edwards down to the inside and going egregiously down to the apron. Very close to the grass, in fact, through the tri-oval. Breaking away from Thompson. Thought Lester was going to take it 3 wide for a second. Out of the rear view, Hamilton inside the top 5 already. It only took 18 laps. He is definitely a man on a mission. Cerebral Assassin, welcome into race 2, as well as Michael Turner. Ace Johnson in the 139 truck will be the next one out in front of Hamilton currently. Clean air is definitely going to be big today, with this track being much flatter than what we're used to at Las Vegas now. Not that much tire wear at this track either, even compared to now with the wear and tear on the actual racing surface itself. How many years have been on this surface. Brandon Witt in 3rd place, trying to go for back-to-back wins. Giving himself a little momentum with that first win at Dodge Raceway. Sometimes all it takes is to find victory lane that first time on the season. And some start to click immediately after that. We kind of saw that out of Bobby Hamilton Sr. in the early going of the year after that rough start at Daytona. Quickly turned things around in the next 5 races. Billy Kramer, welcome. I would assume that this is going to be a 1 pit stop race today. This being the first trip to Las Vegas on the season, of course, we'll have to wait and see. The only 2 tracks, again, that we go to multiple times is Watkins Glen and Daytona. We've already been there once for each of the first 2 races of the year, and they'll be popping up again towards the end of the schedule. Of course, Daytona, the season finale. We get that far in the running for the championship, of course. Hamilton's not really gaining on those top 3 in front of him. They've stayed mostly single file. Maybe Hamilton used quite a bit of his tires up as well, just trying to get through the pack up to 4th place. Would not be shocked whatsoever by that as well. He's trying to take that shortcut through the tri-oval as much as he possibly can. Good run off the exit of turn 4. Will he get to the inside of Brandon Witt? Down into turn 1 this time. Nope, not quite. Witt kind of pulled Hamilton to the center of the corner. It's the only problem with going down to the apron. It makes for a more awkward entry into turn 1, so he's having to lift a little bit earlier to make that corner. But he is definitely cutting that tri-oval down quite significantly. Ryan Carter is the driver in second place. Witt potentially looking to the inside. Not quite going to get there yet. Now in the middle of turns 1 and 2, Witt is going to get there. So side by side for second. And Hamilton is closing in quickly from behind. Drives it in pretty deep into turn 3. He's going to follow Witt through the center of the corner. Hamilton clears Carter off the exit of turn 4. Hamilton again to the apron, trying to get to the inside of the 38 of Witt. Will he get there? Into turn 1. Sends it into the corner. He is there inside of Brandon Witt. And all clear off the exit of turn 2 for second place. And now to the inside of McGee. McGee trying to squeeze Hamilton in turns 3 and 4. Back to the start-finish line. Bobby Hamilton Sr. will lead his first lap of the race. 27 laps to go from the rear to the lead. And he's clear into turn 1 on Aaron McGee. And leads at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway under the lights. Like the new shape of Vegas versus this one. Yeah, I think it opens up for a little bit better racing with the configuration they've got now. It was a lot harder to pass here. It was mainly a one-groove track. It was never going to be multi-grooves with the lack of banking. Now they got more progressive banking, and you've definitely been able to see over the last few years that it's become one of the better mile and a halves of multi-groove racing. Brandon Witt's clear off turn 2. Hamilton going to go down trying to cross him over into turn 3, though, on the inside. He was barely able to pull clear the 64 truck of Ryan Carter as well. Hamilton down to the apron into the tri-oval, leading another lap at the start-finish line. Trying to gap those guys behind him just a bit. Hamilton to the inside of Carter. Hamilton left a lot of bottom open in turns 3 and 4, and here comes Brandon Witt. I think Hamilton's going to lead this lap at the line, barely. Witt trying to get himself 5 bonus points potentially. And he's trying to go for back-to-back wins. Contact hard into the wall goes Brandon Witt. With Ryan Carter and some contact back there after Hamilton's going to hang on to the lead. I think Hamilton crowded Witt just a bit too much into turn 1. And Witt got a little bit too tight, maybe overdrove the corner on his own, and that's what led to the contact, and unfortunately Witt got the worst end of it there. And Hamilton drives on with the lead. We do continue to stay green and still no caution. How tight is it in the turns? Honestly, this truck is really, really good in the handling department right now. Despite what you just saw off turn 2 there. Well, the truck is honestly feeling really fine. You definitely got to brake versus at Las Vegas. Now you don't really have to brake. You just kind of get out of the gas if you need to. I'm not even talking about the 550 package that NASCAR's had the last few years. Talking in general. Not as much brakes. You just got to use a little bit more. Hamilton drove it in pretty flat into 3 that time, just trying to protect the bottom. He doesn't want McGee to get underneath him. Hamilton is not pulling away by any means, though, since he got to the lead. He's having a hard time trying to pull away for whatever reason. I think he might have just used too much of his tires up trying to get through the field. He kind of noticed when he got up to about 4th place that he stalled out for a little bit. He was pushing just as hard as he was before, but he just wasn't able to make up as much ground as quickly as he did to get to that point. Definitely going to be waiting for that pit stop to be coming fairly soon. Although we're still going to have quite a bit of this run left, considering they haven't even gotten to halfway on fuel. Awesome Think Pros, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. And Bill Lester's charged up to 2nd place. I'm saying it pretty much all season. It's only because it's true, but Bill Lester is due for a win this year. And I thought Dodge Raceway might have been a chance when he led just shy of the halfway mark, but his pit crew did not give him a great stop. He's had 2 DNFs. Or sorry, 1 DNF in the last 2 races is what I meant to say. And he's led a lot of laps this year. Hamilton now has eclipsed him in most laps led total this season. And Lester's about 100 laps behind. But he still led quite a few, considering that Hamilton's got 5 wins versus Lester's 0. But doesn't have, only just over 100 laps more in the laps led department, you might think is quite a bit, but considering that Hamilton led wire to wire at Darlington and led every lap of that race, Hamilton never led more than 50 laps in another race this year until Dodge Raceway today when he led 76, but that was on a 3rd-mile racetrack, so 76 laps there, that's about a third of the race, which is still pretty impressive, but not a typical dominant stretch compared to other tracks leading that many laps. Like old Phoenix or new Phoenix? I think new Phoenix creates a little bit better racing. The restarts are a little bit more chaotic and dramatic with where they have the start-finish line at and having no grass in the dog leg of the racetrack. It's wide open. And honestly, at least with the PJ1, you're really seeing some good multi-group racing. I'm not a big fan of traction compound. Even at tracks that seems to enhance it, I'd rather than not have it. But I will say it does seem to work at Phoenix. It's one of the few tracks that I think resin or traction compound really does enhance the racing. I didn't think Phoenix was that bad beforehand. Obviously, had that great photo finish between Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick back in 2016. Aaron McGee going to jump back to the lead. We know he's got a fast race truck. Bill Lester still on the inside of Bobby Hamilton right now. Oh, no! I think Lester came up. And what a save by Hamilton off into turn 1. I felt as if Hamilton held his line in the tri-oval. He was definitely crowding the 22, but he felt as if he held his line. And Lester might have came up the track just a bit, clipped him. A brilliant save, though, from Bobby Hamilton to keep that race truck from wrecking. And again, we continue to stay green, but he lost a lot of track position back to 6th, and he's about 1.4 seconds off the lead. Gotta be careful. Talking about using those tires up already. He keeps getting sideways like this. It's going to create more of an issue. Accidentally got into the left rear of Ace Johnson. That was definitely Hamilton's fault that time. NASCAR Stop Motion, welcome to the stream. I watched the end of the F1 Championship. I saw Max Verstappen won. I'm trying to think how much of that race I actually saw. I think I watched about the last 20 laps. I don't really watch Formula 1 too much, but I knew of them being in a tie going into the race. And it was history, and I am a motorsports fan in general, so I felt as if it was of my best interest to probably watch it, and I actually kind of forgot it was on earlier in the morning. I was like, oh yeah, the F1 Championship's on. I turned it on. There was about 20 to go that morning. I hope so too there, Joshua. I hope so too. The only thing is they're really trying to make it a super speedway. And the fact they're trying to manipulate the package itself to do so. They don't have to have restrictor plates at Atlanta because it's just too narrow still. And the fact that they're adding horsepower, they're just not going to be able to do that. But if they restrict the engines even more for a track like Atlanta, even though they don't have to by safety standards like they would at Daytona or Talladega. Daytona or Talladega, they have to slow the speeds down for safety reasons. But at Atlanta, they don't have to do it. That's where you're mixing entertainment in with the safety product. That the reason why Daytona and Talladega are the way they are with the pack racing the way it is because of restrictor plates back in the day, or even the tapered spacer. What we've seen in the more recent package over the last few years is for safety reasons. That yes, it might be dangerous in the sense that you're going 190 to 200 miles an hour, 3 and 4 wide, all the way 40 cars back to the field. Yes, that is dangerous for sure. But I think it'd be even more of a threat, more dangerous, considering how fast these cars are probably capable of going at 900 horsepower unrestricted with the engines the way they would be if they were unrestricted engines like back in 2014, but without any sort of restrictor plate, they'd be hitting. I mean, Indy cars are going 230 miles an hour at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I guarantee the stock cars with that much banking would still be full throttle. I guarantee they'd be hitting well over 240 miles an hour. And the fact that these cars still draft really well, all things considered, you're still going to get some draft. If you look back at the pre-restrictor plate racing at Daytona Talladega, was the field more spread out than what it is now? Heck yes. But at the same time, you look at an incident where Bobby Allison had his flip. You can't tell me that they weren't packed together at that point, too. The drivers are more restricted, which is why they don't personally like the restrictor plate aspect or the pack racing aspect of Daytona Talladega for that reason. There's really nothing NASCAR could do with the way the race cars are and the technology that we have now that the teams are going to try to push the envelope and push the limit, that is the reason why there is safety. To go back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway situation, trying to make that into a super speedway, that is definitely all for entertainment. It's not for safety, trying to slow the speeds down at that racetrack. They're simply trying to get pack races as much as they possibly can. Will they be able to achieve it? We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if we're going to be able to actually. I mean, nobody can go out there and say that we will or won't have pack-like racing at Atlanta next year until we actually see the product on the racetrack on that race day, and maybe even for the Xfinity Series. I'm not sure if the trucks race there or not, but either way, we'll see it. With those series first before the Cup Series. You'd have to imagine that they're gonna change the Xfinity package at Atlanta just as much as they would change the Cup package if they think that they're. I don't know. We'll have to see. Obviously, as more comes out, I would assume that they're going to change the package. If they keep it the same, then what's the point of them changing the package for entertainment value for only the Cup Series? That's where it's weird. It's really, really weird. I'm sure it'll be easier on tire wear at first, but I mean, once you get 5, 6, 7 years down the line, you're going to have more increasing tire wear. The first couple of years, Atlanta's going to be repaved. There's going to be very minimal tire wear. I think we've seen that with tracks that have been repaved in the 2010s, like Texas, like it's another one. Ooh, man, a little contact, Michigan. There's probably some other tracks out there, but off the top of my head, I can't really. Kentucky, where there's not a lot of tire wear those first 2, 3, 4 years, but then after that, it just starts to wear over time. Now, Atlanta, with being down south as well, you're not going to get as much erosion in the winter because the winters aren't as cold to say what they are even at Michigan, and Michigan's still holding up for the most part. It's just over the last 2, 3 years, you kind of start to see a little bit of more tire wear at Michigan, and in those Michigan races, especially the longer races on the Cup Series side of things. But even that took, every bit of 7, 8 years. And technology is just as much enhanced with the repaving of racetracks as well. Yeah, Kansas is another one. Exactly. Kansas is another one. In Kansas, you're just now finally starting to see a little bit of tire wear over the last 2 to 3 years. But that track was repaved, 2013? So it's definitely going to be a little bit. So even if we do see pack racing at Atlanta, with them restricting the speeds, they're going to have to restrict the speeds way, way down in order for them to do that. But if they do achieve that, we're probably not going to see as much pack racing at Atlanta 6-7 years down the road when the track starts to wear. And it's not going to look like it did at Atlanta at the end of its day, where it's going to be super, you know, a lot of tire wear. And it's going to be like a cheese grater after one lap on your tires. It's not going to be like that for another 20 years down the road plus, because that's what it took to get to that point in the first place. Got 4 things for Christmas. Shoot, what were they? Hamilton's had a hard time trying to get around McGee. Carl Edwards did take the lead a few laps ago away from McGee. He threw a big block to hold on to second for the time being on Bobby Hamilton as well. These guys are just past halfway on fuel, so again, it is a 1 pit stop race scheduled here tonight at Vegas. As Hamilton tries to run down Carl Edwards. Edwards has not won a race yet this year either, but again, he, coming into this second race of the night, has 6 straight top 5 finishes. We'll see if he can keep that alive. Just hope they never repave Darlington. Well, they're going to have to at some point, considering the track was already falling apart on them last year. That's why they had to repave that strip in turns 1 and 2. You can definitely tell they're holding off as long as they can. The one thing, though, with Darlington is that track is so narrow, and it's mainly one groove, although drivers are able to, I mean, drivers are so talented that they are able to use multiple grooves at Darlington and try to finesse it, you know, the way they have. But the track is so narrow and tight as it is, it's not going to take too long to repave, or I should say not going to take too long to have that track grow in tire wear, even with it being down south where it's a little bit warmer. We saw that most recent repave, it was in the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s at Darlington, and it's almost due for another one 15 years or so down the road, maybe just over 15 years down the road. No, I haven't really heard anything on MLB either. I did watch a Pat McAfee interview with Jeff Passan he had on the show a couple days ago. That's kind of the most I've really heard out of the MLB lockout situation in a while. And kind of like, you know, who's winning the side or what it's going to look like or how much baseball could potentially be missed, if any baseball is missed at all. When it could become an issue of potentially maybe missing the start of the season, whatever it may be. We got our first bot in chat, or first bot in the chat for race number 2. We had 6 in the last one. I don't think we'll ever break that again. I hope we don't. We need to destroy these bots. Every last one of them. Hamilton can't quite get it big enough of a run right now to make his way around Carl Edwards in the 99. Edwards has a pretty strong race truck. Even trying to draft with him down to the trioval. The field has spaced apart a little bit more. Now that right front tire is starting to give way on the Ford truck of Hamilton. No surprise, we were going to see that at some point with how flat this racetrack is, that the right front was definitely going to give way a lot more than the other tires. I'm sure the right rear will be next. Draft really not a huge importance at Atlanta, especially with this being a much flatter track. Hamilton's doing what he can to try and just build up enough of a run. Carl Edwards is so strong in the middle of the corner, that's really where he's beating Hamilton. Hamilton's got good straightaway speed in his race truck, but he's having a hard time in the corners. You can really see Edwards gap him in the middle of 3 and 4. Edwards trying to get away from the 4. And obviously Edwards' truck's going to be handling a lot better in the clean air versus Hamilton in the dirty air as well. Hamilton's only led a few laps in this one so far. One truck down on the apron of the racetrack, missed the excess road into turns 3 and 4. That would be Hank Grigsby in the 153 truck. And Grigsby's night is going to come to an end. Halfway on fuel, that time by, coming to lap 65 for Bobby Hamilton. So again, it can go well past the halfway point tonight, but it is still a one-stop race as scheduled. "81 laps to go this time by." Edwards may have the class of the field race truck. We really don't know, only because he hasn't led until just now. But he could certainly be capable. Chicagoland is a great racetrack. At least I was able to get there for the final race that they had there for the Cup Series. I was able to see one race there in person. Best mile and a half on the schedule at its departure. Homestead's up there, but I thought Chicagoland was a bit better. It was definitely at its peak at the time of it going away in NASCAR. The Larson finish, Larson and Busch, and then Larson and Bowman back-to-back years. These are pretty good finishes, pretty good races with two completely different packages, too. That track, that alone, I think, just goes to tell you how good Chicagoland was. Hamilton a lot closer to Edwards into one, but look at Hamilton get tight, though. Does beat Edwards back to the gas, but Edwards is running very low down the back straightaway right now, really trying to block Bobby Hamilton as Hamilton struggles with corner entry. That dirty air. And it is a one-groove racetrack for the most part, too. So there's really no other way Hamilton's going to be able to get around Edwards other than the bottom lane. I doubt he's going to be able to pass on the top. I don't even think he wants to try it on older tires right now. And we got a lot of trucks hitting pit road this time off of turn 4, so green flag pit stops will begin. And these are our first set of pit stops for the race tonight. Looked like nearly half the field, was in the pits to make their first scheduled stop of the race, their only scheduled stop. Look at how close Hamilton is to the back bumper of Edwards. They're going to cycle ahead of the 121 truck, it looks like. Edwards up high right now. He's going to try to squeeze Hamilton into turn 3, and he just did. Hamilton cut him a little bit of slack, but now it looks like Hamilton's going to hit the wall off turn 4. Big loose moment for Bobby Hamilton off turn 4 as he had to jam on the brakes in an awkward area of the track. Carl Edwards pit from the lead. So that's interesting. Carl Edwards going to short pit from the race lead. Hamilton's barely led any laps today, but Edwards hasn't led a whole lot either. So Hamilton knows he can stay out of the pits quite a bit longer. He may have a chance at getting the most laps led if he can lead quite a bit here. And who knows, maybe he catches a caution in the right spot. It didn't work at Dodge Raceway, but I think he's willing to try it again. He still finished second at Dodge Raceway. And I think he was going to catch Brandon Witt if it wasn't for that caution. He was within a couple truck lengths, and there was still 22 to go when the caution waved. I think he was definitely going to get there. But now in this one, it's a little bit different of a circumstance. So it's not a short track. You will lose one lap, but you're not going to lose 2 to 3 like at the Dodge Raceway. If you get an untimely caution in the middle of green flag stops, that is. I don't think MLB needs another 1994s. Yeah, it's just the players arguing for more money and the owners not wanting to give the players that extra money, really, is what it all boils down to at the end. It also has something to do, too, though, with the with owners of the bigger markets wanting a little bit more leeway or more freedom in the amount of money and the threshold they have to be able to pay other players, which is already ridiculous compared to smaller market teams. They're basically trying to throw the smaller teams completely out of the wayside if that ends up actually happening, which I don't see it happening. So that's another thing kind of going on with the lockout, too, according to Jeff Bassan, at least. They're not looking at a salary cap necessarily, but for whatever reason, you know, owners in the markets of New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, bigger market cities and stuff like that, for whatever reason, are wanting more threshold because there's no salary cap in baseball, but if you do go over a certain amount of spending cash for a season, then you have to pay a fine for it, and they're wanting more money to be able to spend before that fine, which, you know, it's already hard enough for teams like Cleveland, Detroit, Tampa, Oakland, you know, teams like that in the smaller markets as it is, and if they're going to try to win that battle, they're basically putting themselves out of, you know, it's already hard enough for them to win a championship. Like, when those smaller market teams in baseball more particularly get good, they have a 3 to 5 year window to win that championship. They don't do it, they have to start from scratch again. I mean, that's just the way it is right now in baseball because there's no salary cap. But then these bigger market teams, I should say, you know, their threshold to win a championship is like an 8 to 10 year range because they have no cap space. They're in a bigger market, more capital, that they're able to pay a bunch of players seemingly what they want, if not, you know, just up the butt. Hey, come here. I'll pay you hundreds of millions of dollars. We have financial ability to do that. That's why you're seeing these max contracts and these gigantic contracts going to Los Angeles, the Dodgers, for instance, the Angels, the Yankees, the Mets. I mean, there's a reason for that. Houston. Detroit had that window where they were able to do it, and their window was a little bit of a different circumstance. At the time, I didn't know because I was younger, but I grew older, and now, obviously, the passing of their owner, Mike Ilitch, within the last, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now. But anyway, he knew his time was coming, and they never won a World Series since he became owner. He wanted to get them a championship. And he was paying literally all the money he basically had left in his pocket to go out there and win that title. That's why we're bringing in guys like Prince Fielder, bringing in guys like David Price and in his like great day, and Max Scherzer. JD Martinez. I'm trying to think who else they brought in. There's a lot of other guys. Delman Young was one. Torrey Hunter. There was just a lot. That team was so stacked. Pitching rotation. The only thing that they lacked was the bullpen. They never went out and got that bullpen guy. They just needed that closer. They relied on Valverde a little too much. Anyway, fact of the matter is, they didn't get a championship out of it, and they're still struggling to this day. Because it's hard to get out of that hole. They just signed Javier Baez this offseason. They're slowly getting their way out of it, and they look like they could probably be a 500 team for the first time in like 5 or 6 years next year. But for teams like in these bigger markets, they almost don't even have to start from scratch or their scratch by Boston. Take Boston and the Boston Red Sox, for instance. Oh, they were bad for 2 seasons, and then right back to making the playoffs again last year, or at least competing for it. It's crazy. Sure as they gonna win games for the Mets. And it's like that though with most sports. You know, it's just a little harder in other sports for the bigger markets to stay more relevant longer because of the salary cap. Ultimately, it would help baseball. Do I think they'll get there? Probably not. I feel like if they would have done it already, considering the fact the sport's like 150 years old. I mean, they would have done it a while ago. Kenny Rogers. Currently in lap 88. And Hamilton can go quite a ways before he has to pit yet. I'm surprised the field pitted when they did. Oh, I guess they pretty much split the race in half. They pitted at about the halfway mark. So Hamilton's riding around there on older tires right now, but this is all to get fresher tires down the road, or a caution could potentially come out, trapping the field a lap down. They would take the wave around when Hamilton pits under the caution, but then Hamilton would have fresher tires and he'd still hold on to the lead, so it'd be a win-win situation there. That's what Hamilton's hoping for. That's why he's got as big of a lead as he does. He has not made that first and only pit stop scheduled on the day. Everybody else has. 14 people currently watching, only 5 likes. Smash the like button. Again, subscribe if you are new for more daily NASCAR content. On the road to 10,000 subs in the year 2022, and I think we can get there with that charge of getting to that 1,000 mark right at the end of 2021. Greatly appreciate the support you guys have given me here, and I'm busting out the content. This is our second doubleheader of the week. I don't know how many more doubleheaders I got left in me, but I can guarantee we will stay on a consistent basis. Once again, took a little bit of a break there for the holiday, but we are back. We are rolling, and we're going to have a lot of fun in 2022 and beyond, of course. But this year, I got some big plans. And again, you want to keep an eye out on that community tab within the next couple of days. And keep an eye out on the bell. Well, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another upload, because there are videos you won't want to miss as well coming out by the end of the weekend, as promised. Parkway intros. Thank you for the $19.99 super chat. Can I play NASCAR with you? I think just for that, we should probably do an online lobby sometime soon. I will definitely be on that now. That's awesome. Thanks. Welcome to the stream, of course, as well. First, I saw you popping down in the chat tonight. We haven't done one for NASCAR 21 Ignition yet because there's no private lobbies. But I think I kind of have to do one now very soon, considering the fact that you're throwing money on the table for me to do it. Wasn't expecting that at all. Hamilton's really struggling with the grip in his race truck right now. Both front tires and now the right rear in the yellow. Surprised the right rear didn't start going a little earlier. It's definitely getting looser though as this run carries on. Pretty much free all the way around from start of the corner all the way through the exit. Have heat 5. Oh. Yeah, I don't have heat 5 anymore. That stinks. Well, I'll try to make it up to you because you gave that extremely generous super chat. What, trying to think here. Trying to think of a day that I don't have scheduled yet, which we're pretty much scheduled for the rest of the week. I'm really trying to think of ideas here for live stream purposes, at least. What do you want to see me play, at least NASCAR wise, or racing game related wise? I feel bad that I left the super chat and I'm like, all right, we'll do an online lobby, and I don't have heat 5 anymore. Now we got a caution for the first time today. I don't know why Hamilton got loose there, but caution is out. And the 103 truck will go around in turn 4. Slapping the outside wall after spinning right rear first and slapping the right front. Pretty hard lick. Again, no safer barrier out there. And sliding to the inside of the racetrack down into the grass, into the tri-oval. So Hamilton will pit under the yellow. That is the caution he was hoping for. And he got it at lap 98, the first caution of the race. 4 tires of fuel, no adjustments coming for the Ford truck. Grave Digger, welcome to the stream. Image is stretched. What do you mean by the image is stretched? Oh, mistake for Bobby Hamilton in the pits. Good news is he's the only one in here. So I guess if you were ever to have a mistake on a pit stop, now would probably be the time. No, I'm on I got what is it? Roku TV. I mean, it's an old game, so the graphics aren't going to be completely up to date. Green flag back in the air. Carl Edwards will restart from the lead at the front of the field. That caution has trapped a ton of drivers a lap down, but the problem is here for Bobby Hamilton Sr. is now he's got to go through these guys. He will have extremely fresh tires. But in the end, this is probably going to be less ground he was going to have to make up otherwise if that caution didn't come out. So that was a good timing caution. And again, it's another yellow in the second half of a race, or at least in the later going, because we go green with 46 to go. Things are ramping up quick. That Roku TV too. Yeah, I stream everything too. I don't have cable. We haven't had cable at the house in a couple of years. I talked my parents into getting Hulu a while back because I tried a free trial at the time on my phone, and I knew that we had these TVs. I was like, why don't we just switch to this? It's 10 times cheaper. So I'm still able to watch all my NASCAR races on Hulu. I highly recommend it. If you guys can't afford cable or don't want to afford cable, if you have a smart TV or would go out even buy a smart TV, it's well worth it. It's well worth your investment to do that and to go off a streaming platform to watch, whatever it is. Especially, obviously, we're all NASCAR fans here on this channel. Go out, and if that's your way to watch the races throughout the course of the week, you can get every race. I can tell you right now, I get all the channels. I get USA Network too, so I'm able to watch my pro wrestling and be able to watch NASCAR next year. Man, they are 4 wide down the back straightaway. This is going to get tight into turn 3. Still 4 wide. Contact. And they made it through. Somehow. Hamilton going to go down to the apron into the tri-oval. Making his way through the field on these fresher tires. Brandon Witt just took the lead away from Carl Edwards. Hamilton overdrives the corner. Contact. He didn't realize he was 3 wide. Unfortunately, his teammate Chapin was the one that got pinched into the wall there. Have cable, but I barely watch it. Yeah, and you get all the same channels depending on what bundle you get too. With Hulu, you get to choose your bundle, what channels you want too. It's so cheap. I think the most expensive bundle on there, which is if you want HBO as well. My goodness, nearly had another crash off turn 2. Bob got turned off the exit of turn 2, stacking the field up. Hamilton gained a position out of it up to 7th and past a ton of lap cars. But he got loose himself into 3, trying to miss everything. Drove out of it. Still about 3 seconds out of the race lead. He will be there eventually. It's going to be tough to hold him back with these fresher tires. Yeah, I'm not a big movie person either. But the HBO, Grimsley gets into the side of Bobby Hamilton. Moving Hamilton up a bit. But I know that that's the most expensive on there. You get a bunch of movies that come with it. As far as like NASCAR goes, if you want like those channels, I think it's only $30 a month. And it is a little bit more delayed, which is when you're watching something live, which is the reason why it's so cheap. Because if you're watching anything live or live sports, it's delayed a little bit more, which is why when I do my live commentary live stream, so that's why I'm like a lap or 2 behind you guys. So trying to take it 3 wide to the inside of Baker and Grimsley. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Nice pass there for Hamilton. Parkway, I will definitely figure out a way to incorporate you with some sort of way on these live streams. As far as like the party goes, I don't want to do that because then if I ever end up getting other super chats like that down the road and people keep asking the same thing, I'm gonna have to deliver, and I just don't have that much time on my hands to be able to do that. But I will figure out a way sometime very, very soon. I was gonna say, what game do you want me to live stream next? We're supposed to do NASCAR 21 Ignition tomorrow night for the next career mode race, which would take place at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow at Daytona for the regular season finale. That is scheduled for tomorrow, but I may be able to pull off another live stream of some sort that you maybe get to pick. Well, not maybe, you will get to pick. It'll probably end up being next week, though, only because I don't have anything scheduled yet for next week. And we're scheduled through Sunday so far on the channel. Oh, yeah, also with Hulu, you get ESPN Plus also. So I'm able to watch my Red Wings. That agreement with them getting the NHL. Well, there is 3x3 traffic up here off of turn 4. It is getting very racy towards the front of the field. Hamilton is hustling into the tri-oval. They're 4 wide. Nearly. Almost making contact. Hamilton trying to use all the racetrack. Get around these lappers. Sprague throwing a block on the backstretch. Oh, we got that bot again. Sprague is making some big-time moves right now. Tim Irvin, thanks for the $4.99 super chat as well. You guys are delivering tonight. I am very blessed. Hamilton still can't quite get around Sprague. Now he's clear. Middle of the backstretch, he is clear. Still 3 seconds off the lead from Brandon Witt. We got 30 laps to go this time by. Hamilton's got fresher tires. Didn't make any adjustment changes during that pit stop, and you would think he's going to get there, but Witt is running some pretty good lap times right now. This is the first he's led all night as well, though. Took the lead a few laps after the restart from Carl Edwards. I thought Edwards might have been the class of the field. Brandon Witt might be able to win back-to-back races and sweep our doubleheader tonight. I do not have NHL. I do not. I've been meaning to get NHL 22s out right now, correct? I just don't have time to play the other games on the side. That's why I don't have them. Most of the other sports games I do have currently are for the PS2. Watching the Bruins and Wild game. There you go. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Oh, you got the Disney bundle. There you go. Got 22 for Christmas. Hopefully it's a pretty good game. It's one thing, EA's kind of slack recently, but the last NHL game I played, I believe, was 18 or 19, but that was still pretty good, I thought. I think it was 18. No, it was 19. Never mind. It was 19. It was the first year in the Little Caesars Arena. I know that. So it would have been 20, well, NHL 19, which would have been the 2018-2019 season. Hamilton is not cutting into this deficit at all right now, and I don't know why. You would think the fact that he's got 15 to 20 lap fresher tires, that he would just be eating into these guys' lead. He's only made his way back up to 5th, which is still impressive, but considering there were only 8 trucks on the lead lap, I would have thought he maybe could have gained a bit more time. He's struggling to do so right now. Hear him skirting the tires into turn 1. He's definitely pushing as hard as he can. I got an idea though, Parkway. If well, I guess the first question is, do you like when I do the I almost said fantasy, but do you like when I do the trivia stuff on the channel? When I'm doing the quizzes and all that? Because if you're a fan of the NASCAR trivia quizzes, then maybe I could do a live stream solely based off of the NASCAR trivia games and quizzes. Or maybe there's some quiz that you would like me to do, and I will do it. I think that could be a good compromise. That's something I could easily do the same night I stream, like a truck race or something that isn't as long. Wouldn't be able to do it, say, tomorrow night because the cup races take a lot longer, and that's what we're doing tomorrow for NASCAR 21 Ignition. That's the idea I have planned at least. Tim Irvin's a Blackhawks fan. Oh, you haven't seen me do that? Yeah, I did it on, pretty much it's on NASCAR 21 whenever the game crashes. Or we get like a glitch that takes us out of the race. If I don't get halfway through the race, then I was doing trivia there for a while. It's interesting we all got different teams. I'm surprised at how many people that I've noticed. A lot of the regulars on the channel seem to like hockey. I mean, hockey's a fun sport. It's a great sport. But of all the sports in the U.S., like, it's probably the 4th most popular of the 4 major sports. Hamilton is closing in slowly. Still got a couple fast trucks to pass. Got Travis Kvapil and Bill Lester battling for 3rd. Hamilton's still in 5th. Carl Edwards is in 2nd, and Brandon Witt is pulled away from Edwards. With that timingly caution, though, for Hamilton, if he does not win this race with that caution, that might be a little bit of a disappointment. That was the reason he stayed out as long as he did. He actually got the caution he wanted. Perfectly timed. And if it stays green to the end of the race, you would have thought it was a guaranteed win for Bobby Hamilton. Well, it stayed green so far, and unfortunately, he's still sitting with about 18 laps to go in 5th place, and he's just under 2 seconds off the lead. Contact with Bill Lester off the exit of turn 2. Pretty tight. Lester's pinching the Ford truck of Hamilton down into 3. And he's going to hang on in front of him for right now. Oh, you've been playing hockey for 10 years. Well, that's pretty cool. I'd like to keep it racing related. We can do an interactive, a more interactive live stream. We've done it before with the, whenever I did do trivia, it was always leaving it to you guys too. Man, Lester's not giving Hamilton any room whatsoever right now. Hamilton is there. Oh, contact! Middle of the tri-oval. I think Lester kept it off the wall. I don't think he appreciated that, but he was really pinching Hamilton down for quite some time, and Hamilton needed to go. Chip Plays, welcome to the stream. I'm doing great tonight. Hopefully you are as well. Jeez. That was a bit of an overdrive for Hamilton, too. He's definitely been making some mistakes on his own these last few laps, getting really desperate and trying to catch up to the race leader. What a battle, though, for second as Quaffles closed on Edwards. Lester's lost these guys just a bit. Off the exit of turn 2, they're going to merge 3 wide. Quaffle gets to the inside of Edwards, but so does Hamilton as he gets to the inside of the 24. They're 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. At a flat Atlanta Motor Speedway, contact off of turn 4 now. And I believe Edwards got squeezed into the wall. Oh, Hamilton with a terrible block on Quaffle. Into turn 1, he's going to hold on to second, but that's going to stack everybody up. And that's going to allow Witt to get away a little bit more. And Edwards back to the inside of Travis Quaffle. 13 laps to go, this time by. It's going to be tough, considering Witt's got clean air. He is not going to catch a lap truck at all in this race either. Brandon Witt led 163 laps at Dodge Raceway en route to his win earlier tonight in the first race of our doubleheader. But here tonight in race 2 at Las Vegas, he has led a lot of laps late in the going at least. Didn't lead a lot early, but took the lead a few laps after the restart from Edwards, is pulled away. And he's trying to eye his second win of the young season. It's going to be tough for Hamilton to get to him. He's closing in. He's got 15 to 20 lap pressure tires. He's not closing in as much as he would have thought he could have. I mean, you would think, restarting with 45 laps to go, that he was going to be able to get there a lot quicker than what he did. In fact, he's still second and a half back with 11 to go. He's not pacing very well. Ten laps left at the line. See you, Tim. Thanks for tuning in. Nine laps to go this time by. Hamilton was about a tenth of a second quicker than Witt that last lap. He's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit if he's going to want a shot to win. We will have one attempt at a green-white checker finish if we do get a caution. We've had 2 green-white checkers so far this season. We've had a lot of late yellows in races this year as well. We had one that's strict with just less than 50 laps to go already here tonight. That's the only one of the race. Hamilton might be hoping for another yellow. He hoped for one, and he got one already, though. And you think asking for a second one, just asking for too much at this point. Hamilton basically had his shot. Brandon Witt's looking like he's just going to straight up beat Hamilton in both races tonight. He's led more laps than him in both. Not only combined, but in each. And Witt maybe trying to make a case for himself for a potential championship. He's been getting to the end of these races, unlike Lester and Quapple as of late. The only other guy I can think of is Carl Edwards that can really compete with Bobby Hamilton for the championship this year. But again, Brandon Witt trying to throw himself in that conversation. I think he's got a legitimate chance to, especially if he goes on to win yet again here today. That'd be 2 max points days for him in back-to-back races. And this is only the 8th race of the year out of 23, so we still got 15 to go. Plenty of time left this season for Witt to get back into it. One truck on the apron. Like it was the 113 off the exit of turn 4, but he will get into the pits. We continue to stay green at Vegas. 5 laps to go. Hamilton, again, he is slowly, and I mean slowly, reeling in Brandon Witt. But does he have enough time? He didn't earlier today. He was a 1.5 seconds off the lead. He's definitely closer than a 1.5 seconds off the lead now on fresher tires. Don't forget, if it does come down to the final lap, no cautions. Wave on the final lap in this game. 1.3 seconds faster that last lap for Hamilton versus Witt. 4 to go. It is going to be really close. Things have ramped up late. Hamilton again a bit quicker. And he actually closed in somewhat more considerably that last lap. 3 to go. Almost overdrove it into turn 1. Again, he is pushing extremely hard. Potentially trying to rattle Brandon Witt's cage now. Down the backstretch into turn 3. Hamilton all over the back of the 38. 2 to go. He's caught him. Now can he get around him? Witt's got the clean air. We've had a lot of thrilling finishes already this season, and I'm sure we might see another one here in this one. Both trucks went up the track that time in 1 and 2. I think Hamilton overdrove it a bit more. Oh, Witt got loose. Oh, and they're both in the wall off the exit of turn 4. Caution is out. Oh, my goodness. Green-white checker on the way. Hamilton was trying to intimidate Witt, and he got loose off 4, and Hamilton drove right into the back of him, bringing out our second caution of the night. And that is not the caution Hamilton wanted to see, unlike the first one earlier. We're going to head into a little bit of overtime. One attempt at a green-white checker finish for the Truck Series. The only series in this game that is the case. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. And Witt's now a rival. And he got a great launch on the restart. Hamilton trying to intimidate him again. I don't know if that's going to be wise. Everybody's back into this. Damage to both the 38 and the 4, though. Lester to the bottom. Contact. That contact really costed Hamilton off the exit of turn 2. Hamilton closes in 1 and 2 on Witt. Hamilton's going to drive it deep into turn 3. One last shot to get to Brandon Witt, but I think he's just a little bit too far back. He's closing and closing. And off the exit of turn 4, he's going to look low, but it's too late. Brandon Witt has won at Las Vegas. That is back-to-back wins for him, surviving the green-white checker at Las Vegas. And I think Hamilton, if he just didn't run into the back of Witt off turn 4, bringing the caution out, would have won the race. But the fact of the matter is, Him accidentally turning Witt actually gave Witt the win. He intimidated him, but not to perfection. He got loose, but there was just nowhere for Hamilton to go off the exit of turn 4. Then that contact with Lester on the restart also hurt him. Look at that finish for 4th place. 1/1000th of a second, Lester beat Aaron McGee for 4th. But we'll take a look at the top finishers. Again, Brandon Witt with the win. He led 43 laps today, barely leading the most laps in today's race by just 2 laps over Bobby Hamilton. And those were those final 2 laps of that green-white checker was the difference. Carl Edwards led 22 laps, finishing 3rd. Bill Lester, no laps led in 4th. 7 straight top 5s for Bobby Hamilton and Carl Edwards. And how about this? In both races tonight, 1, 2, and 3 were all the same finish. Witt, then Hamilton, then Edwards in both races tonight. Aaron McGee led 40 laps in tonight's race as well. Look at how close that is for the most laps led. 43 for Witt, 41 for Hamilton, and 40 for McGee. Even 22 for Edwards. In all reality, only 21 laps behind Witt. Very competitive, despite the fact there were only 7 lead changes. Travis Quaffle finishes 6th. Benny Allen finishes 7th. Ace Johnson 8th. Jack Sprague 9th. Barry Wilder rounds out the top 10. And we only had 8 drivers finish on the lead lap of that first caution today, coming out in the middle of green flag stops. Hank Grigsby, he blew an engine. Ryan Carter blew an engine. Robbie Young blew an engine. Larry Watson blew an engine. And that was it. 4 drivers failed to finish in race 2 of the doubleheader here tonight. Michael Marooks, welcome to the stream. Is that the real Michael Marooks? If so, thank you for tuning in. If not, thank you for tuning in. That is all here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, though. Thank you for tuning in. It was a great night of racing in both races of the doubleheader. We'll be back at it tomorrow with a live stream of NASCAR 21 Ignition with another live commentary, full race. Once again, as usual, all in the hopes of one day getting into the commentating booth in the sport of NASCAR, as you guys know. Truly appreciate the support, as always. Beluga, I see you in the chat as well there right at the very end. Welcome. But that is going to be it for this one. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow night, regular season finale. NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode at Daytona. Have a good rest of your night, everybody.